Hello and welcome to Triple M TV. I have this shocking and breaking news to announce to you. Now, before I bring you the news, kindly subscribe to this channel, comment, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you may receive more news as soon as they come in. Now, the likely beneficiaries of DP Rigathi Gachagua fall. The lobbying is intense in Tharaka Nithi, Kirinyaga, Embu, Murang'a, Kiambu, and Laikipia counties. At least 48 legislators drawn from Mount Kenya region had declared Kindiki as the link to the executive. While Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua still has a fighting chance in the impeachment motion he faces in the Senate, jostling for his seat is in top gear, pitting largely Mount Kenya West, East, and Aberdare West. Stated differently, if Mr. Gachagua indeed falls and President William Ruto decides to pick a mountaineer to fill the vacancy, the lobbying is intense in Tharaka Nithi, Kirinyaga, Embu, Murang'a, Kiambu, and Laikipia counties. In the impeachment motion that was tabled on October 1st, 2024 by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuze, at least 291 MPs have signed in support, sparking debate on his possible successor. The motion yesterday was approved by 281 members of parliament, which saw the National Assembly impeach the Deputy President of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, in the history-making of the National Assembly of Kenya, Gachagua being the first Deputy President to become impeached after the 2010 Constitution. Actual names floated so far are those of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro, as well as Laikipia East MP Mwangi Kiunjuri. Mr. Gachagua is from the populous western side, and those salivating for the plum position from his backyard argue the seat is currently theirs and must remain there. Other new entrants into the race are Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, all who hail from Murang'a County, as well as that of the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'WA, a fierce critique of Mr. Gachagua, even though the argument against him is Kiambu, his county of birth, has already produced two presidents, Jomo Kenyatta and his scion Uhuru Kenyatta. Former Health CS Mutahi Kagwe's name is also being whispered in the corridors of power as possible replacement. He, like Mr. Gachagua, hails from Nyeri County. More still, the sulking that has hit Mount Kenya in the heat of the impeachment debate has been related to be of the magnitude that can lead the president to also consider transferring that position from Mount Kenya to either Luo Nyanza or Western region. There talk, although dismissed as remote by the president's men, that he might go for Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, our Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. Those rooting for Mr. Mudavadi say he should be elevated to the second in command post and his position as PCS be taken by Prof. Kindiki. Mr. Nyoro is said to have rubbed power brokers the wrong way, something that could work to his disadvantage, did not sign in favor of the impeachment motion. The pro-West team has been meeting since the impeachment was mooted a few months ago, with more frequency now, their goal being to retain the seat. It is true that we have been meeting several times to strategize. No one has the monopoly to lead us as Mount Kenya. We have many who qualify, and it shall be revealed in the fullness of time, says Murang'a Woman Representative Betty Maina. In Tharaka Nithi, Governor Muthoni Njuki confessed being put in an awkward place of making a choice, given that Gachagua is my friend, but in this issue I support Mr. Kindiki as it was right from the beginning. It is an honest confession. The endorsement mirrored a pre-election support for Mr. Kindiki, where he is said to have received majority support from Mount Kenya region leaders to be Dr. Ruto's running mate in the 2022 election. But the then deputy president settled on Mr. Gachagua as his best bet. At least 48 legislators drawn from Mount Kenya region and its diaspora had declared Kindiki as their link to the executive, hailing from the east, making him eclipse Mr. Gachagua from the role even before the tabling of the notice of motion for his ouster. According to Mbeere North MP Mr. Geoffrey Ruku, the leaders argued that the absence of a centralized representative had hindered efforts to advance the region's agenda. Given the prevailing state of affairs and the urgency of the mission ahead, there is need to have a link that will create a nexus between us and the national executive on matters development, the MPs said in a joint statement, pundits reading it as a choreographed script aimed at endorsing him for the second in command slot. However, women leaders met in Kirinyaga under the auspice of G7, seven female governors in the country, and openly endorsed Ms. Waiguru for the position. We are looking at the issue from the perspective of the president promising that running mates where candidates are male should be female, and for that matter, Waiguru fits the bill, said Moya MP Mary Maingi. Those voting for Ms. Waiguru believe that as a woman and a native of Mount Kenya West, President Ruto can be able to kill two birds with one stone and pacify the region amid raging tensions over the ouster motion. National Democratic Congress Youth National Leader Ms. Gladys Njoroge said, do not forget about Ms. Mbarire, who is the ruling party's interim chairperson. On October 3rd, 2024, a committee bringing together elders, Mount Kenya Foundation, and committee of eminent persons met in Mukure, Wanyagadhanga, which is considered the first matrimonial home of the first parents of the Gikuyu community, Mr. Gikuyu and Mr. Mumbi, to deliberate on the emerging crisis. We are yet to come up with a clear position since we are far from seeing logical conclusion about this impeachment. So far, our position is that President Ruto must take back Mr. Gachagua. His alternative being we mobilize our people to severe relations with anything to do with this government, said Kikuyu Council of Elders Chairman Mr. Wachira Kiago. The DAP Kenya Deputy Party Leader Ayub Savula said that from the look of things, the die is cast and Gachagua is headed home. Majority MPs have decided to send Gachagua home, and I don't know what the president will do to convince them otherwise, and I don't see Rigiji going to change even if he is spared. His relationship with the leaders has soared. Let this go to Kindiki. The position belongs to Mount Kenya, and the best person to take it is Prof. Kindiki. He is far better than Gachagua. He has succeeded in the interior docket and deserves elevation, Mr. Savula told the nation. But Muranga Senator Mr. John Nyutu called it bluff, saying, we have noted with distaste that the debate has degenerated into a circus that has bared the president's real intention of forming the broad-based government. It was expressly to kick out Gachagua and isolate Mount Kenya, a reason why we no longer feel obliged to love his administration. While Mr. Savula faulted Mr. Gachagua over claims of becoming a DP for a region called Murima at Mount Kenya, yet he is supposed to serve all Kenyans. Kigumo MP Joseph Munyoro countered that had Dr. Ruto picked Kindiki as his running mate in 2022, today's president will be Mr. Odinga. Githunguri Member of Parliament Gathoni wa Mushomba dismissed Kindiki as a liability who is leading interior docket bloated by Gen Z models, enforced the disappearances, prosecutions, and detention without trial. Political analyst Richard Bosire told the nation that Mr. Gashagua's removal from the office does not make Mount Kenya region the automatic beneficiary of his DP post, adding that the president has a latitude to appoint any Kenyan to hold the position. It is a mirage to say the DP post is a preserve of the mountain. We cannot keep on recycling regions in the executive. This will be the best opportunity to have a deputy president from another region instead of recycling two regions in the leadership of this country. Nominated Senator Esther Ukenyuri, however, warned against preempting the outcome of the impeachment against Mr. Gachagua. We should not preempt the debate on the impeachment pending at the Senate, considering what it is a private member's motion. Whether or not the president will reorganize his administration will depend on the outcome of the impeachment. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, an ally of the DP, had in an earlier interview told us that they were aware of all those who were fighting him to try to elbow him from President Ruto. Among those he noted were a thorn in Mr. Gachagua's flesh were female governors, warning that for every action against Gachagua, there will be a reaction. In his interview, Mr. Kahiga said the G7 were being fronted by the COG chair Waiguru under the guise of increasing the number of female governors in the next election. The truth is that she is strategically placing herself as a possible replacement of the current DP. President Ruto had, during the launch of the G7 Council of Women Governors as a caucus strategy event at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi in March, said he would sit down with Mr. Gachagua and agree that should the UDA party front a man in the coming election, the running mate must be a woman. The president said he will ensure his party leads from the front in supporting women and consequently help in attaining the two-thirds gender rule. There is a feeling that should Mr. Odinga choose to work with President Ruto to help him secure a second term in 2027, and the president prefers a female as running mate, then he would easily settle on Ms. Wanga while banking on ODM Chief Raila Odinga's support through unwritten political rule, has in that the joint ticket must bring together the west and east of the country. East African Legislative Assembly EALA member David Hancock says that President William Ruto might settle on Ms. Wanga as deputy, but only in 2027 if he cements his working relationship with Mr. Odinga. It is true they were promised the deputy president to Gladys Wanga and it is not delivered. Ruto might have two wounded lions, Gachagua and Raila Odinga, so we have to up our game. Mtazamaji, this is the latest from Triple M TV. Kindly subscribe, comment, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell to receive more updates from Triple M TV, your number one online news channel.